what it will do is give you an idea of what serving sizes are again. What's going on, everybody? Welcome into Gaining the Edge Health and Fitness. My name is Mike, and today we're going to talk about calories in, calories out, counting calories, and why I recommend counting calories for beginners. I think it's a great way to get started in any change in lifestyle if you're trying to gain weight or lose weight, and we'll discuss why and how to do it. But before we get started, don't forget to like and subscribe. It goes a long way. It's greatly appreciated. And also drop some comments if this is helpful. If you want to hear certain topics discussed, please, again, this is fitness with the beginner in mind. My goal is to help all of you as beginners or people just getting started into their fitness journey, lifestyle changes, whatever it might be. So if you drop a comment in terms of what you want to hear about, I'll gladly cover it. But let's get going right into the content today. First things first, let's talk about calories in, calories out. You have to burn more energy than you take in, which is calories. In this case, you burn more calories than you take in. It is scientifically proven to work. Here's the issue. People think of calorie deficits as this like bad word, this, oh my God, you can't do calorie deficits. Oh no. You can do a calorie deficit. You just have to be smart about it and safe about it. You can do a calorie deficit of about 500 calories a day, 7 days a week. That'll give you 3,500 calories at the end of the week. That gives you 1 pound loss. 1 pound equals 3,500 calories. Finding out where you stand or start calorie deficit wise, like you need to find your baseline calorie, like calories you need for certain weight loss things. And calculators are a little off. They give you a baseline, a rough estimate of where you should start. Finding your calorie mark, like your maintenance calorie mark and your deficit mark to where you want to be to lose that weight, that's going to take 2 to 3 weeks, I'd say. It took me about 2 weeks or so to realize, okay, I want to be a little higher, I want to be a little lower. I actually went too low too soon, then I bumped it back up because ultimately you want to lose weight while eating as much as possible. And what I mean by that is if your calorie deficit to lose a pound or two a week is around 2,800 calories, try to hit that, because that way, at least while you're hitting your 2,800 calories and losing weight, when your body adjusts, because your body will adjust and your metabolism will adjust to the new, in state of calories you're taking in order to continue this weight loss, you're gonna have to bump it down a little bit. Well, you need room to go to do this. So with that said, you start with the calories as high as possible and you slowly decrease it as you need to lose more weight. But same can be said with gaining weight. Obviously, you want to be, here's your calorie number, you want to be above it. Easier said than done for some people because some other people, it depends. There's other factors, how much calories you burn in a day, how active you are in your lifestyle. People often tend to overestimate how active they are. If you're sitting in a desk chair, but you work out 1 hour a day, you're still considered somebody who is rather inactive, I should say. If you have a job where you're walking, 5,000, 10,000 steps a day, probably, you're a little more active. So again, be realistic with your activity level, be realistic with what you do when you plug your stuff into these calculators. Again, part of this is speaking from experience. So I know counting calories won't be for everybody, especially if you have an eating disorder of sorts, which again, these are special cases that you need to take into consideration when discussing this stuff with people. So if you don't track calories for one reason or another, that is fine. But the reason why I'm saying I suggest doing it at least for, again, 2 weeks to a month, and that's kind of like where I like to at least get you going, is because what it will do is give you an idea of what serving sizes are again, especially if you're trying to lose weight. But gaining weight, again, it works both ways. Serving sizes are very difficult to stick to or understand if you haven't been monitoring them for years. Like you might not realize this much chicken might be 6 ounces, but you've been thinking, oh, it's 8 ounces, or you're eating this much chicken thinking that's serving size when really you should be eating this much. It's stuff like that. Or grapes. People might think, oh, well, a bowl of grapes is a cup of grapes. No, a bowl of grapes is probably 2 cups of grapes. But if you actually get a measuring cup of a cup and you fill it with grapes, there's your cup of grapes. You know that. So what it does is it actually reintroduces you to true serving sizes. And not to mention things you don't really consider when you're dieting or when you're trying to change things up. When you cook, everything that goes into your body should be accounted for. For instance, the olive oil you're using, oh, I just put a splash of it, right? You coat the pan, whatever it might be. That splash might be 2 to 3 tablespoons. Every tablespoon of olive oil is roughly 120 calories. Now, let me say, olive oil isn't bad for you. It's not that it's bad for you. It's that the amount you're using just is too much a lot of the times, or it's not being factored in. So you're like, oh, I'm eating at a deficit, but you're not factoring in your ranch dressing or your sauces that you're using, your oils you're cooking with. You get to a point where you understand what these foods are calorie wise. So you can go back to more of an intuitive eating, which is where we want to be. We don't want to measure our foods for the rest of our lives. That's unrealistic, unsustainable, and honestly, it'll make you hate the process. That's why I'm stressing at the beginning, do it for a short period of time just to understand and relearn a serving size. I'd say there's 4 essential things you need for tracking calories properly. And the first one, they're right here on my desk, a scale. Again, economically friendly too, about 10 bucks, 15 bucks, maybe 20. And this one, it measures in grams, it measures in ounces. But here's the thing, how do you know how much food you're taking in? You need to have an app that tracks it. See, here's the issue. I love MyFitnessPal app, but they took away the scanner thing on it. So if you can find an app you like, just get whatever app you like. I still like MyFitnessPal because if you search foods specific enough, down to the name brand, you'll be able to find it without the scanner. It's just not as convenient. You can create your own meals on there. You can do a whole bunch of stuff. I'm not sponsored by MyFitnessPal. I don't pay for it. I use the free version still. But with that said, MyFitnessPal is the one I still use, even though it's not as good as it once was because it took away that damn scanner tool, which was so helpful. The beauty about these things is you can kind of pre-plan your food on there. Like if you know you have certain goals you want to hit, or if you have certain snacks you want to pre-plug in, I'll go ahead and just pre-plug those in as snacks so I can work my meals around the snacks I want. If I want candy for the day, I'll put that candy in there knowing that's my treat. And then again, program the rest of my meals and food for the day to fit my calorie goal while still incorporating my treats. Because again, you don't want to just exclude all your favorite foods. You just want to limit them. You want to, again, relearn serving sizes. You want to understand portions again, portion control. That's where I think monitoring your food early on comes in handy. And I guess 3 and 4, kind of the same thing. So I should have just lumped them into 3 essentials. But measuring spoons, measuring cups. Again, you don't realize how big or how small, it depends on how you look at it, a tablespoon is. But for instance, a tablespoon, pretty large. That's a good amount of stuff. You can fill one of these up with olive oil and coat your whole pan easily plus some. I actually use a tablespoon to coat my pans. I just buy a really good pan. I bought a really good pan where I can use a tablespoon of olive oil, 40 calories compared to the 120, and I could usually coat my pan well enough to cook my foods in it while cutting calories. Again, it's not really a hack if you want to call it that, but it's just a reminder that, oh, a tablespoon, and that's another thing. Peanut butter. People think peanut butter is a healthy snack. When you're taking a heaping spoon of peanut butter, your heaping spoon of peanut butter, most people don't realize, I think it's a tablespoon is 1, or 2 tablespoons might be like 100 and something calories for peanut butter. 2 of these isn't that much. You're using the spoons and stuff for your sauces. These are going to be great for your, I don't know, bigger stuff. For instance, a cup. You need a cup of grapes? Here's your cup. You start learning this stuff. And honestly, I don't even rarely measure my grapes because a few extra grapes or a few less, it's not going to kill me. So I grabbed roughly a cup, and I know how much a cup is because of all the times I've measured a damn cup of grapes in a couple weeks. It's easy to get to a point where, okay, I don't need this anymore. Or you need a cup of milk, you get a measuring cup for that. I would obviously, again, a little more, a little less is not going to kill you. It's fine to be close, but the goal is to relearn exactly what close is. Close for some people might be 2 cups thinking it's 1. So close for some people might be a half a cup thinking it's 1. At the end of the day, do what works best for you. I just always strongly recommend that at the beginning, you try this out. If it doesn't work, move on to the next one. It's no big deal. I appreciate you guys checking this out. I hope you found this helpful. I look forward to bringing you more content like this in the future. Don't forget to subscribe, like, and comment on your way out. It goes a long way. It's greatly appreciated, and we'll talk soon.